in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. Change is a part of life. It's a part of business, and transitioning in your life and in your business seems to be something that we all experience on a regular basis, particularly rebelpreneurs, solopreneurs, anyone who is trying to make a change, make a difference in the world. You've got to learn how to manage that change. And it could be changing from a job to a full-time business. It could be transitioning from one type of business or one type of career into a different career. So that can be stressful. Fortunately, there are people who are gifted in being able to help us navigate those changes. And I have one of those gifted people with me today. Her name is Levin. She, because matters of the heart have always been the force that has driven Anna, she helps people to be in alignment with themselves so they can live a thriving life by trusting in the power of their heart. Anna's heart-centered approach opens people and companies to the emotional wisdom that allows them to see the same things they have always seen, but from a different place, from the place of their heart. Sounds fascinating. Anna Levin, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited about this conversation with you, Ralph.
It's really a pleasure to have you and to dig into this whole idea of a heart-centered perspective to help us navigate all of these ups and downs and changes and transitions with all the crazy things going on in the world. The only thing that remains the same is that nothing stays the same. So I want to hear all about it. First, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get to where you are in this space? What's your story?
Yes, absolutely. Well, okay, so that's a loaded question, but I will simplify it for you and the listeners. I am originally from Argentina, Buenos Aires, and that's the first question that people ask me because I have this accent.
I like the way you say that. Would you mind saying that again?
Absolutely. I'm from Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. I love that.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
But you're in California right now.
I am in California. I've been in the United States for roughly 22 years, so I call the U.S. my home, right?
Yes.
But, I was listening to the introduction. Thank you so very much. It also entered me in a different way, because when we think about transitions, I've been in a transition for the past 6 years, and I've been trying to learn how to gracefully walk through my transition. And I say the word gracefully because it's not that pretty sometimes. When we transition, nobody really teaches you how to transition in life. The transition that I've been going through is not only a physical transition, but is also a spiritual and emotional transition. And this is the work that has me completely captivated, and the work that I do with myself and with others. So it all started really when I was a high school teacher for many years. I taught children of all ages, and nearly for a decade, and I realized that I wasn't really just teaching Spanish. I was tapping into the beauty of each individual and reflecting it back to them. That's really what gave me joy. That's the best way that I can describe it. So as you can imagine, after, nearly 10 years of doing that, you kind of like outgrow your shoes, and you're like, okay, I'm really good at grammar teaching. I'm very clear at explaining grammatical, points. but there's something else here. And so I started to dig deeper into my soul and who I am as a being and where am I transitioning into. I got enrolled into a master's program in psychology not because I wanted to have a master's so much, but because I felt the inspiration to do so, and it was really miraculous how it happened. I didn't have even the money at the time. I somehow qualified for this loan, and in 5 days, I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, I was enrolled, and that next Monday, I was starting my program.
Now, there you are. Be careful what you wish for, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, intention is everything. As I tell people that I work with, your intention, is everything. And long story short, I graduated with honors, but when I graduated from that master's program, I was depressed. I was so depressed because it didn't take me to the intimate place in myself that I was seeking. And so what happened was I continued my search, and I enrolled in the Tony Robbins Coaching Certification Program, the Robin Madan Strategic Intervention Program, which is fantastic.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah, that's excellent.
I love Tony. And, that's really, it jump-started my self-healing and self-discovery process. Right when I started this program is when I really started to have an awakening and touching more and more into my heart. And I received this message that is on my website that I tell everybody to trust in the power of your heart. But I not only received it, I felt it. I had to choose it. And I continue to decipher what it truly means to trust in the power of your heart. Because let me tell you, Ralph, I was living in my head.
Well, that was going to be my next question is, how do we, I guess we should define these terms. What is the difference between someone living, and I want to hear your thoughts on the difference between living out of your head and living out of your heart. How would you explain that to our listeners?
Absolutely. Great question. First of all, I want to preface this with saying both have value. Okay, so there's not one better than the other. It's just where are we living life from? So sometimes people say, I don't know how to feel. I said, because you are trying to know. You're using your mind. This is, and so how do we learn how to tap into the wisdom of the heart? It's a totally different technique. It's not even the word. It's a process. Will be a better word. It's a different process than creating from our head. And again, one is not better than the other. It's about integrating both of them. In my case, for example, if we use me as an example, I was living life from a fear-based, which is a mental creation. And so my decisions and the things that I was seeking in life were coming from my head, therefore negating or not integrating the wisdom of my heart. When I received this message and I really started to tap into my passion because I felt I was lost, I had to actually, the pendulum was so much on the side of the brain that I had to actually swing back very much so like the Me Too movement right now, swing back the other way to my heart and really tap into what does it mean? What does it even mean to trust in the power of my heart? How do I access this wisdom? And that led me to a series of reframes, a series of decisions that were nonsensical is what I call them, meaning the head didn't really comprehend why, but it didn't need to. So I tell you precisely. For example, I went through periods where I felt I had to do yoga. And I did six months of yoga, and I had so many physical, emotional releases that I had no idea that I had stuck within my physical body. And of course, your emotional body is all connected. And I went through periods where I actually did a second coaching certification program that was more of an educational approach. And again, even though I have and I still use the knowledge that I acquired through that coaching program, make no mistake about it, I was the number one recipient that got transformed by doing that coaching program.
Yeah.
So you see, it's an experience, is a trusting that what we are feeling has a purpose, and then having the courage to actually follow those nuances that you feel, that little whisper that you feel. And then the next step is to actually integrate that wisdom of the heart, that intuitive aspect of ourselves with the brilliant creative force that the mind is.
Sure. So it sounds like it's, for me, I'm trying to relate it to an example. It's kind of like a stereo system. So you've got the left speaker, you've got the right speaker, and something is a little bit off if only one of those speakers is playing at the time.
Yes.
You sound kind of, it sounds unbalanced. It doesn't feel right. But when you get both speakers playing, everything is blending together. It's synthesizing the way it should. And so what you're saying is it's not either or, it's both. We learn to think and to know, but we trust our heart and our feelings. And it's the synthesis of this that allows us to get more joy out of life,
Absolutely.
out of the things that we're doing.
And let me share an example with you that is perhaps not pretty. Through going through my divorce, for example, which is we all know that's one of the most heartbreaking. Whether you are seeking the divorce or the other person is seeking the divorce, it doesn't matter. The dissolution of a union and the reconfiguration of a family, it's never easy. When I received this message, which is when I actually decided to get divorced, I remember having so many instances in conversations that we had to have with my ex-husband where I was coming from a fearful place, again, from my head, and I did not want to do it that way. I was defying the odds of what we see in society, that it has to be chaotic, that it has to hurt. Yes, it's going to hurt. However, when we come from our hearts, when we, and let me tell you, I tell you exactly, because people want to know what that means. And for me, I would go to my closet where I had a chair whenever I realized that I was not coming from my heart, and I would breathe into my heart, and I would ask myself, what would my heart say? How would my heart handle that conversation? And I would go back out and talk to my ex-husband, and the receptivity was so different. I mean, we got divorced in 2.5 months. We went together to the same lawyer. These are things that you don't hear.
Right. Yeah. Usually it's a long, drawn-out process, and there's a lot of animosity on both sides.
Because when we come from love, even when we are going through traumatic things, everything changes. Everything melts. Love melts. Fear just creates more fire, right? It was really, really life-changing. And so that's what I am passionate about working with people with. Aligning their energy, getting rid of these blocks, and really tapping into this wisdom of the heart, which is the vessel that connects us to our divine essence, which we all have. And then how do we integrate that into our everyday life, into our careers, into our relationships, into everything?
With all the people that you work with to try to help them get to trust more in the power of their heart and in the wisdom of their heart, I don't think that comes naturally for a lot of people, which is why you're there. You're there to help them through that process. But what would you say is the biggest stumbling block or the biggest thing that people coming to you really experience in terms of problem that they're trying to solve? What is it? Is there a common theme that you see over and over again with the people that you help?
Yes, I do actually. I see that a lot of people already, if not all of them, to be honest with you, because I also am able to actually channel the information that they are telling me, like their soul is telling me to tell them. We all know in a subconscious level what is good for our spirit, what is good for our soul, what do we need right now. The problem is, and this is what I feel like I give people a lot, is the validation and the permission to actually seek that which will help them heal and live, more wholly. WHOLL, right?
Yes, holistically.
Like, yeah. So yes, so I would say they come to me when they know that there's something not flowing in them, and they just want to gain more clarity and just love. That's what I'm here for, is to love. And when somebody is going through trauma, sometimes we don't have even access to self-love. That's the truth. It's really, we are so sensitive as beings. And what I offer people is a safe, compassionate, and strong place for them to come into and leave whatever has to leave them so that they can be whole again. Because there's a part of us that is always intact, no matter how many traumas we go through. And that's what I connect them with again.
Yeah, I guess that would be a challenge because we are sensitive, and yet we've been through all of these pains and these difficulties in life, and so a lot of people shut down. There's they're putting up their defense mechanisms, and all right, I've been hurt, and I'm never going to let myself feel this way again. How do you find that balance between the defensiveness of having been hurt to opening up your heart and possibly exposing yourself to more hurt?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, but isn't that what life is? So here's the option that we have. We can close down. And when we do so, we must understand that we are also closing down for all the goodness that we could experience. That's the thing. And so it's a practice and learning to tap into our own love, into developing the intimate connection with ourselves first. I think that's a key point that I see across the board. Even in myself. And two, there's no destination here. This is a practice. This is learning how to live life from a different place than we had until now. And choosing and having the intention to do so, that's where things start to change. And it doesn't mean that we're never going to hurt again. It means that we are going to go through pain in a different way, with a different meaning. Like, for example, let's just talk like real life. If something happens to my children, of course, I'm their mom. I'm gonna hurt. Mm-hmm. But another part of me is tapping into and holding the space for them to learn their lessons. If we understand that everything in this world has a purpose, everything has a reason, including ourselves, the way we are, our personalities, what we like, what we don't like, the way when we, burst into tears or burst into laughing. Everything has a purpose. So when you start to see life with those curious eyes and that deeper meaning, yes, of course we suffer, but you are also committed to growing and evolving as a being. So I would say that, I don't know if this explains the question that you asked me, but I would say that when we learn to look at life with those eyes, everything changes, including trauma. That
does make sense, actually, the way you answered it, because it occurred to me as you were speaking, if the only reference we have is hurt, and then we shut ourselves off from the pleasure that life can bring us, the pleasure of relationships and the pleasure of fulfilling your purpose, all you know is hurt. You haven't experienced the other part of that. But that's what makes the other worth going through. It's all of these experiences working together, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it is much, much deeper than what we think. I had, for example, my mother left when I was little. I was left in Argentina, and for the longest time, and I'm still gonna deal with this for the rest of my life because it's such a deep wound. But what I have discovered so far is what a tremendous opportunity for me to actually discover how to not abandon myself, how to actually love. Because you see, this is my purpose in life, is to love. Is to really love beyond what is expected. That's what I'm here to do. And so how can I appreciate, right, the lack of love that I interpreted as a child of my mother leaving as an opportunity to actually really have a 360 understanding of what a person feels like, of what a child feels like. I love working with children as well. And so, you see, we can see it. It doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. Nobody's saying that. We're not negating the hurt. We are just open to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there is a deeper meaning to our experiences. One, and two, we are not our experiences. That's just something that I experienced. But I am not an abandoned person. I just experienced that. And so in doing so, I'm actually growing, I'm evolving, I'm more compassionate, I'm actually able to tap into my mission in a more intimate, deeper manner.
What can someone listening right now, if this is resonating with them, what can they begin to do? Maybe some simple steps they could take to start tapping into this side of life, the wisdom of their heart, and be more aligned. Is there something that they can begin doing?
Absolutely. The first thing I would say is take some time to be alone, whatever that means to you. For me, it was my closet.
Yeah.
It was my closet, dark closet with a chair in it. Take time to get to know yourself. Take some deep breaths. Breathe into your heart and start becoming aware, even if it's a faint awareness, or, of where are you coming from? Is this your heart? Is this your head? Is this a fear? Is this start questioning yourself and start to get to know yourself, because there's nothing more beautiful than the intimate relationship that we can have with ourselves. And nobody can do that, not even your spouse or your children.
Yeah, very good. Take time to be alone and be aware.
Yes.
Even if it's in a closet. Yeah, that's a great first step, because we're so busy and we've got so many inputs and I don't know, probably not. It's not always the best thing to do to immediately go on social media and ask everybody else's opinion and then get 100 or 200 different voices all giving you advice. Sometimes you just need to shut everything off and listen to your heart. Is that what it comes down to?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's a great example right there, because why would we ask for advice when we don't even know ourselves?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is really great work that you're doing, and I'm wondering if there's something you're working on right now that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Yes, I'm actually very passionate, and I've been doing these healings for roughly 2 years. And, energy is energy, and now quantum physics is already proving and has already proven that we are all energy. Therefore, I'm playing now with space clearing, and I'm actually getting certified in space clearing because I'm being drawn to actually do space clearing for businesses, for even products, spaces, just like we clear ourselves. Look, we take a shower, right? What is that for? We clear our bodies. That's what I do energetically. And so, yes, that's what I'm working on. I'm very passionate about, because I can only imagine how it could change our entire business and their productivity, their, atmosphere in the workplace, and the products that they offer when they are in alignment energetically. So that's what I'm working currently on.
Very interesting. And I think more and more as people begin to consider these things and consider what business they're going to favor. Out of all the choices out there, it's going to be that business or that individual, that service provider that they resonate with, that they have a positive feeling about. You can call it energy, you can call it vibe, whatever you want to call it. I tend to call it vibe because I talk about vision, voice, vibe, and value. But we're all saying the same thing using different languages. It's how do you make people feel when they do business with you or just when they interact with you? So I could see where that would really be something that a business, especially a service provider, rebelpreneur, solopreneur, entrepreneur, people like that, if you are giving off the wrong impression, the wrong vibration, the wrong energy, you definitely need to take a look at that. That's another factor in the success of your business and your relationships.
Yes, and it's no woo-woo, thing to say that when businesses are aligned, their productivity increases, their relationships within the team is better. So it all goes hand in hand, and therefore the customer experience is better. So why not bring in the energy alignment of a business and identifying even blocks that might be lingering, anywhere from personal blocks from the people working in the company to physical blocks in the actual building, for example. It's fascinating to me. I really just want to, break into mainstream with this because I do believe that it will make a huge impact.
Yeah. Sounds fascinating. How do our listeners find out more about you and the things that you offer?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm on social media, Facebook and Instagram with my name, Ana Laura Levin. You can find me on my website, Ana Laura Levin. That's ANALauraLEVIN.com. And just shoot me a message, an email, reach out with questions. I know that people have a lot of questions, especially if they haven't had, an energy alignment. I am so happy to answer questions, and have like a 15-minute call for free. I'm really after, my goal and my passion is to demystify what an energy alignment is, one, and two, help people actually do it on themselves and gain more awareness so that we can all thrive in life.
Wonderful. This has been a great conversation. I think it's really opened our minds and our hearts to new possibilities. Everything you said has been great. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners before we say good day?
I just want to say thank you, Ralph, and to all the listeners is take it from someone that was in her head, pretty lost. And where I am right now, I'm a good proof of that what I'm speaking about, I have lived and I continue to live, and it's doable. It's possible. Baby steps takes you to the goal.
Perfect. So I've been speaking with Ana Levin. She helps people to be in alignment with themselves so they can live a thriving life by trusting in the power of their heart. Anna's heart-centered approach opens people and companies to the emotional wisdom that allows them to see the same things they've always seen, but from a different place, their heart, trusting in the wisdom of their heart. I love it. And you'll love this website. It's a beautiful website and great content. ANALauraLevin.com. We'll have that link on the website as well in case you're driving down the road. Don't check it out now, but definitely check it out later. Ana, it has been a real pleasure to have you on Rebelpreneur Radio today. Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thank you, Ralph. Many blessings.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.